currently working on a book about French racism and also about the collective memory of French Atlantic slavery. And so what I did in that book project was to go to Paris and the surrounding suburbs in the mid-2000s and talk to activists, historians, and also public officials who were involved in trying to bring attention to the history of French colonialism and slavery. And in order to better understand the stakes of that question, the memory of slavery and its contemporary legacies, I also talked to a lot of Black French from the French Caribbean islands of Guadeloupe and Martinique to get their perspectives. Did they think that this part of history was important? How did they relate to that in terms of their citizenship? And when did they make connections between the colonial past and contemporary racism, or not? Sort of, did they see the two as connected? I found that interesting as an African American, in part because I'm a descendant of both slaves and slave masters, like many African Americans, and also like many descendants of slaves throughout the diaspora. And I was fascinated by the 2001 French law, the Taubira law, that said that slavery was a crime against humanity. In the United States, we don't have such a law. In fact, France is the only country to have done such a thing. So when I was a graduate student at Harvard and I was interested in race in France, this seemed like a topic that would be very interesting for me to sort of go to a different society and see, you know, given the ideology of color blindness, the idea that race doesn't happen in France in the way that it happens in the United States. I wanted to know, how do you talk about slavery? How do you talk about a racial history in a context where talking about race is taboo? So the book is about that question from a variety of perspectives, the perspectives of activists, the perspectives of ordinary French Caribbeans who aren't involved in these debates, just to sort of use that as a lens to understand the construction of race and racism in France.